This is the first challenge I'm doing, but I guess you would call it the tell your life and no edit challenge. So got a long, well, not long as some people, but I just got a lot of crazy stuff that's happened in my life. So I was born in 1982 in November, and I have to keep busy with my hands. I can't sit here and talk to you guys, so figure I'd come out and do this, get this wiring harness together. That's for the back of Roger's lights. Yeah, I was born in November of '82 in Salt Lake City, Utah, and most of my family on my mom's side came from came with Brigham Young, and actually even go back to being in the Mormon Church since Joseph Smith. Me, not so much anymore, but yeah, got my own thing on that. But I lived down in Utah until my parents got divorced when I was 12. Then I moved with my father to. We moved in with my grandma and grandfather in Algona, Washington, which for 2 years my grandfather was mayor of Algona, Washington, actually. Moved around a whole bunch in my whole life. I moved around a whole bunch. I went to 4 different high schools in 2 different states. Or actually, sorry, 3 different states. And you may go, oh, you're Army brat or military brat or something. No. No, my dad was in the Army. He was a drill sergeant. He actually met John Kennedy and stuff like that. So, in Germany and Berlin. But my dad he was just always a guy that liked to move. Just the way he was. The way I like to do things. And I graduated in June of 2001. And I remember my senior prom, we had it at what used to be Safeco Field, and now it's, I guess, T-Mobile Park up in Seattle where the Mariners play. We had it there, and I remember sitting out on the stands because they had the stands open, and you could go sit out there. And I remember sitting out there and just looking at the skyline and going, man, the whole world's going to be different here after I graduate. So it's going to be completely different. And little did I know that, 3 months later, in September 11th happened, that was a more profound statement than just my life was going to happen. So, I had never, all my uncles and stuff, and cousins and stuff had been in the military that were older than me, and I had never planned on it. But once 9/11 happened, I went down and signed up and went to the military. I injured my wrist in basic training and couldn't complete it, so I ended up going home. I don't consider myself a vet. I don't ask for vet discounts or anything like that. And the VA doesn't consider me a vet either. But I used to be I used to feel indifferent about it, but then I realized as years went by, um, I signed up, which is a lot more than most people would do. But I know I signed up after a time that I knew I'd probably get shipped off to war somewhere. So, you know, I look at it that way. I was married and divorced, and it was in the span of 5 months, but also in that span of 5 months, right about in the middle of it, my dad died when I was 20. Um, he's my best friend, man. You know, I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. So I'm 1 of 7. I'm the second of 7. The youngest actually is 18. So, but excuse me, long day we're gonna lose. But I was the only one that went with him after my mom and dad got divorced. So we spent a lot of time together, and it was kind of interesting just to see the relationship change as we got older. You know, it was more of 2 guys being friends and father and son after a while. You know, that was still there, but that was kind of cool. And then after that, I went and started driving trucks. I drove trucks for 11, 12 years, and I've delivered anything from 40,000 pounds of tampons to 40,000 pounds of potatoes. Okay, I've driven, let's see, basically about all kind of dump truck you can think of, whether it's a belly dump, which opens at the bottom, huge semi end dump, which lifts up a whole semi trailer to dump it, regular dump trucks, all that kind of stuff. I drove tankers. I drove cargo containers. Went and picked them up at rail yards and stuff like that. Doubles, triples. I was a mover for a while. When I was younger, before I could be a truck driver legally to go over the road, which is 21, I worked as a mechanic. So that's why I can show you things like doing 12-volt wiring in here and rebuilding hardware and stuff like that, and I feel bad about showing you how to do it because I've done it before. I went to Job Corps for a little while, which lots of people don't know about. It's not, it's not necessarily for trouble kids. It's for, if you don't have a lot of income, if your family doesn't have a lot of income, I'll tell you this, and you want to learn a trade, go to Job Corps. You get your food, housing, clothes, all of it, okay? Yeah, all that taken care of, medical, all that stuff. And so you don't end up in thousands and thousands of dollars of debt out the door. I would definitely look into it if you have the opportunity. Let's see. I've been to all, but I think I haven't been to Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Alaska, Hawaii, and I want to say Connecticut maybe. But all the other states I've been to. And I've not only been to them when it's the nice season to be to them, I've been to them in the winter as well. So, so when people, they would go, well, why Washington? It's expensive or whatever. And My response to that is you need to find some place that you want to live, where you like to be. It can't all be about the expense of it. Some of it has to be you want to live there. You only have, like the young kids say, YOLO. You only live once, right? You only have one life. Um, so to spend it in some place that you don't enjoy the environment or any of that stuff, that's why I choose to be here. And then I got lucky enough to find an even better place, the place I already wanted to live. So, now the RV stuff, people that know me or know my family or whatever, they're not surprised that I could go and rebuild an RV, hardcore live in an RV. But for those of you that don't know, I've been in an RV since I was probably, I think the first trip was when I was 3 years old. So, I've been in an RV since, basically, if we were at a RV lot, which I used to go with my dad, oh man, we just go look at RV sometimes just to go look. But the one I'm sitting in right now, this would have been considered a pretty new one and would have been awesome for us to get back in the day. So, there's that. Now, some of the crazy stuff that's happened, these are some crazy stories that have happened. That's the gist of me, and I have a disability, all that kind of stuff. But that's not interesting to listen to or fun. Okay, so first I'll show you. If you know anything about football, Richard Sherman was on the Seahawks, and he was on the Seahawks when I had the year that they won the Super Bowl. Well, that year that they won the Super Bowl, my brother had gotten us tickets to the NFC Championship game, so I got to go see the NFC Championship game in the end zone. I was in the stands above where the tip happened. So I didn't get to see the tip happen. I got to see it on TV, but I was in the stands with that. But before that, we got to go to the radio station, and I actually met his brother and his mom, and they're really cool people. When I was in basic training in the Army, my drill sergeant, if you've ever seen the movie or heard of the movie Black Hawk Down, my drill sergeant was a gunner in one of the helicopters flying around during Black Hawk Down. I got lots of cool stories, but I didn't know I'm going to be able to remember them all right now or be able to even. I've got lots of stories though, but the only one I'm thinking of right now that was probably one of the coolest ones was I was in Seattle at a Chris Cornell concert. It was just him solo acoustic, and the reason I can remember the day that it was because it was the day that Osama bin Laden was killed. And between the opening act and Chris Cornell, you just saw people all of a sudden they'd look at their phones and you just heard this murmuring going around. I was like, what's going on? Oh, they killed Osama bin Laden. Well, a little bit later, Chris Cornell comes out on stage and he starts to do the Beatles song. I heard the news today, oh Lord. So I thought that was pretty cool, But I have lots of just passings by or meeting people or whatever. They're just, like that movie, Real Big Fish, I think it was, where he just, he would tell these people stories and they're like, sure, whatever. And then when he died, all those people come show up, But I got lots of stories like that, so I just want to do the challenge and give you guys a little bit more insight of me for this. So anyway, Till next time, don't procrastinate, germinate.